Welcome to ET Studios, GCC Giants, coming to you from ET GCC Annual Conclave 2024. In this episode, we will explore how GCCs are driving significant economic growth across India. Our esteemed speakers for this session are Praveen Kumar, CEO and MD, Barclays Global Services, and Sameer Chothani, MD and Head of Integration and Tech Services from UBS, and they will illuminate us on the vital role GCCs play in contributing to the Indian economy through job creation, boosting national development, and enhancing infrastructure. Over the past decade, GCCs have evolved into driving strategic value from headquarters and elevated India's status as the GCC capital of the world. The country has become a powerhouse of innovation, significantly contributing to the country's economic growth and also providing very high quality employment opportunities. So I'm going to take off my first question from there, right? With India being the GCC hub, what do you see the sort of value creation for the Indian economy, and what are the various opportunities that have been created?
Okay, so thank you, Shilpa. Should I go first? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so look, it's a fantastic opportunity and times that we live in the last couple of decades. We have seen this massive, opportunity for talent from India to contribute to the global economy. And GCCs play a vital role. We at Barclays have been here since 2007, substantial scale across multiple cities in India. Really it's, the fundamental sort of opportunity for global organizations is to leverage talent at scale. So you have deep pools of talents, which are which are very sort of high on learnability, very agile, who bring in some strong skills, but also a great mindset to learn about the new skills, new organizational culture, etc., and then contribute in multiple ways to the organization. So I do see that as a fantastic opportunity to continue to build on that, and within financial services, for example, or banking that I work in. It started with more maybe technology skills, and that itself is evolving with, of course, Gen AI, etc., coming in. But also more broader opportunity to contribute to all aspects of skills required in a bank, and increasingly we are tapping into, for example, commerce graduates, CAs, lawyers, so on, right? All the different skills. So there's a tremendous opportunity for us to continue to grow in this journey.
Yes, absolutely, and tangible contribution from academia as well when it comes to the ecosystem.
Yeah. No, thanks for having us, Shilpa. Really appreciate that. Look, I totally agree with Praveen. If you look at the India economy, we are growing by 6.5% every year. We are the fifth largest nation economy in the world, but we are moving towards the third, going to be the third, as the reports say, by 2030. We've got a fantastic talent ecosystem, which is so digital savvy. And I think we are at that cusp of actually doing a lot more value adds out of the centers out of India. I mean, the capability centers out of India, right? If you look at the tech innovation, which is starting to happen, it's generating a lot of opportunities for people to upskill them, and also to look at partnering with the startup ecosystems, which is thriving in India. So overall, I would say the government has done a phenomenal job in terms of the infrastructure support. It's not just the massive amounts of data going through wires, but also in terms of building up the ecosystem, getting us the tax breaks, generating jobs out of it. So 4.5, 5 million people today actually work out of the GCCs in India, right? So that's a massive uptake for our economy. And if you look at the overall stats, there are roughly about 1,400 or 1,500 odd GCCs today in India, and then adding another 1,000 in the next five years, right? Half a decade is not too long. And if you look at 2,500 by 2030, that's a massive opportunity for us. And I think this is the place to be.
All right. Now that I have two BFSI leaders right here, I would love to know from you, when it comes to BFSI GCCs, how is India differentiating itself, and how is it ahead of the curve?
Yeah, so look, within banking and financial services, we are, number one, we got to be super relevant for our parent organization. So we got to be relevant in terms of the kind of problems we are solving, the kind of talent we are bringing in, the kind of services we can provide to our end customers and clients. And in order to do that, it's all about understanding, having strong domain expertise, understanding the business that we're in, and eliminating friction for the clients, and solving for those, so to say, customer journeys, or essentially making them much more smoother and frictionless. So that's been the focus for us to, and the opportunity that India provides is that you have this convergence of many different functions in the same location, same building, and so on, right? Which is generally quite siloed functions. So that cross function collaboration, all aligned to a great customer outcome and focusing on those outcomes, I think creates a lot of value. So that's, I think, where we are trying to get more and more collaboration going and be able to generate much more value.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of our other speakers agree as well that in India, we're able to break down those silos and create those pathways for better cross functional collaboration and synergy. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, I would say that the front to back value proposition of India in the GCCs over the last 1 or 2 decades has come up really well. So it's not just the technology roles or the ops roles which we were like gunning for a decade ago, mainly for cost arbitrage. Those days are gone. Clearly, it's tech, which is the backbone for ops, finance, HR, risk, legal, etc. And in UBS, and I'm sure in Barclays as well, we've got this front to back franchise running up. We recently acquired another heritage bank, 18 months ago, and I think the capabilities are getting much more stronger, and creating a lot of opportunities on the innovation side. And like what Praveen said, idea is to serve the business, looking at how we can multiply the top line of the firm, looking at how India can contribute on a constant daily, weekly, and monthly, yearly basis on how do we do it. And that's what is the momentum driving forward in the GCCs today.
And if I can just add, Shilpa, as well, that, like I see this as a triangle. Like if you think about the GCC that we are leading or, part of, you have academia on one sort of side of the triangle. You have the startup ecosystem, which, particularly, for example, in some of the consumer banking space, digital banking, etc. India has a very vibrant ecosystem in that area. India is very advanced in digital consumer banking. So looking at opportunities to partner with some of those startups. And then the third, I think, is our peer GCCs. So a lot of opportunity for us to collaborate, not just internally, but also look at opportunities where we are providing solutions in our home markets by partnering with the likes of Amazon, Apple, or whoever else, where it makes sense to, because a lot of them have GCCs here as well, and you can accelerate the solution delivery by having partnerships and that ecosystem, going with local partners.
Yeah, increased value creation and accelerated solutions delivery. Now, with the ongoing focus on ESG and sustainable finance, what role do you think GCCs play in driving sustainability goals, and how do they contribute to aligning with the global initiatives and local impact? If you could take that.
Yeah, I look, there are multiple initiatives which we have embarked on, and I'm sure my colleagues as well. So if you look at the Green Software Initiative, right, in terms of how do we write software today, or how do we code today, in terms of where you're not using as much compute power as before? How are you actually fine-tuning your algorithms, which don't use as much storage and compute power as before? So which is contributing to energy savings in the data centers or on-prem or on cloud. That doesn't matter. But overall, clearly being, waste management stuff, energy efficient stuff, right? I mean, and those are the kind of things which we clearly are embarking on and pushing the needle on all fronts on that front.
Yeah, if I can just expand on that. So all of that clearly, but I see the opportunity for us at sort of 3 levels. First is our own, given the scale that we have, we are LEED Platinum, LEED Gold, in essentially highly compliant to ESG goals for the bank, and also sort of ahead of the, leading from a domestic industry standpoint, So our own facilities, we want to set that benchmark. But then if you think about the wider country, only about 10 to 15% is corporate grade A real estate, right? Most of our climate impact is happening because of domestic consumption, etc., right? So how do we actually get double down on raising awareness in the colleagues, in our workforce, and so on, right? So they become more sort of thoughtful about sustainability. And I think the third is that we within the bank are doing a lot of work from a reporting standpoint, because the demands from those are going up. So in terms of what our sort of goals are from a climate and sustainability standpoint, and how we as a financial institution are delivering to those, a lot of that reporting happens from India. So that's sort of the three areas where.
All right, that's
I mean, green financing is another one, right? I mean, we are kind of working with our clients constantly in terms of promoting our green finance products, etc. And that, while it results in not as much of an ROI what is expected, but then clearly our clients are wanting to be a part of our journey, right? And then we want to do the right thing for the country, and the world. So yeah, clearly.
excellent. That's been comprehensive from the two of you. Now, how do you navigate regulatory pressures in different markets while remaining agile, adaptive, and compliant?
Go for it.
Well, of course, the regulations across, I mean, we are there in like more than 60 countries, right? And obviously every regulator is interested to know how you're operating a GCC out of India. What kind of services are you kind of delivering to your globe, the mothership? Clearly, what's the kind of policies you have around data leakage protections? How are you actually protecting the franchise from threat actors on a daily basis, right? So clearly, and I think obviously the tools and tech, and this is where the startup ecosystem plays a very important role for us. Our security posture as a firm is very, very strong. That's what I would like to say.
That's paramount, yeah.
I think on regulation and compliance to regulation to countries we are operating in, I would say that we in India are not doing anything different, right? So the way we operate in India is so integral to our global enterprise that we are so tightly linked in terms of our processes, in terms of the way the work is executed. So a lot of the compliance work for those markets is done, like regulatory compliance, reporting, etc., gets done from here. But that is not specific to the GCC in India being compliant. It is for Barclays globally to be compliant to those regulations. A lot of that reporting or whatever we need to do, it gets done here. So I think the difference is that as an entity here, of course, we need to be compliant to whatever regulations are there domestically, but that's mostly to DOT or any of those regulations that we ensure that we are. But from countries in which we are doing business in, the MAS, the HKMA, the Bank of England, the US Fed, etc., right? That GCC standalone doesn't do anything different. It's integral to Barclays, and we are responsible, of course, to ensure that we are providing services which are fully compliant.
I wonder, bankers asked about regulations all the time. I don't think it's your favorite question. Now, moving on to my last question. When it comes to the next 5 to 10 years, how do you see the growth of BFSI GCCs, especially with increased competition from fintech and big tech players?
Yeah, so look, I think as I said, we are 330-year-old institution. So Barclays has been around for many years. And when I look at next 5 to 10 years, I think it's about creating a vibrant ecosystem. So there's space for services firms, there's space for fintechs, there's space for, of course, GCCs. For all of us to coexist with a stronger partnership. What I see sort of naturally emerging in India are ecosystems of domain-aligned talent, and I would say that as an industry, we got to think about as we add more or aspire to add more value to the global enterprise, we've got to have deeper domain-aligned pools of talent, and for that to happen, creating locations like naturally, if you see Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida, etc., right? You are starting to see some of that happening. But how can NASSCOM, the government, facilitate and encourage more of that, domain-aligned ecosystems of similar firms operating in close proximity, which helps in each other in building deeper pools. The fintechs being there, the services firms having a presence there, etc. Right? Then it's a symbiotic ecosystem which will help us deliver more value in the time to come.
Yes, how do you see the self-reinforcement going forward?
Well, I think it will continue to coexist. It will continue to co-innovate. If you look at the startup ecosystem in India, which is very thriving, right? And GCCs can clearly be a composite incubator for those startups. Whether internal entrepreneurship is good. If you go back to the traditional way where GCCs were doing a lot of innovation, was more of internal R&D. But now, I think with the open innovation model, it's paramount that we will move towards in that direction to partner with startups, for solving business use cases, which is contributing to the top line of the firm, or reducing the bottom line of the firm, right? And I think the artificial intelligence journey, everyone talks about it, cloud computing, quantum computing, etc. So the future is definitely there on these tech elements. And my thinking is that the front to back value proposition year on year can only go up from here.
Right. And we have two very able GCC BFSI leaders to lead us into that promised future. Thank you so much for joining us today at ET Studios GCC Giants. It's been fantastic hosting the two of you. And remember to stay tuned to us for more such insightful conversations right from the ET GCC Annual Conclave 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shilpa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samir.
And on that note, we're wrapping up this insightful panel discussion on GCC's accelerating economic growth. We hope you found it valuable, and thanks for watching ET GCC Giants.